Hey everybody, in today's installment of Highly Skilled and Deeply Formed, I want to touch briefly on a topic that we're going to be unpacking in far more detail at our Leadership Intensive, and that is around the skill and challenge of having tough conversations. We know that in leadership, there are going to be moments where, because we love people, we're going to have tough conversations. Because we care about the cause, we're going to have tough conversations. And even though we'll unpack more practical principles at the intensive, I want to just address our heart for a moment, because this is an issue of both formation and skill, or skill and formation. And the biggest question for us when we're going to have tough conversations, if we need to challenge people, if we need to hold people accountable, is simply whether or not we're doing this in love. Am I motivated by love? Because I can be right, but if I'm not right and loving, I can do an incredible amount of damage. I'm often reminded of the first portion of 1 Corinthians 13, where effectively Paul is saying that I can be right, but because my heart is not in the right place, it can shout so much louder than my rightness, and I can actually do damage with my rightness. So we need to check our hearts. And I often wonder whether or not I am more concerned with being a friend to someone's feelings, or am I concerned with being a friend to their future? Proverbs 27 verse 6 says that wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy. So I've got to actually make sure that I'm not just defaulting to trying to make them feel better about themselves only if I'm not actually concerned with their future too. So there's this tension. There's this tension between those of us that are very comfortable going for the jugular and telling them exactly what's wrong very quickly without having to even think about it. And then there are those of us that really struggle with actually being clear, honest, direct, and challenging people appropriately. But that's what leadership is. It's the same as parenting. If you're going to parent your kids well, you're going to love them enough to actually be concerned with their future and to have tough conversations, but you're doing it out of relationship, you're doing it out of love. Maybe one of the great sort of quotes or summaries of how to manage this tension for us, in my opinion, comes from Pastor Hodges, where he says that truth without grace is mean, grace without truth is meaningless, but grace and truth together is medicine. And that's what we're trying to convey when we're having tough conversations. We want it to be medicinal. We want it to be helpful and lead towards greater health. And I think that as we do that, we will then achieve the Great Commission without forfeiting the Great Commandment. At no stage are we meant to achieve the Great Commission while sacrificing, the health and the soul of the people involved. But if we're going to love people well, that by default is going to lead towards others being discipled well and the Great Commission being achieved. Tough conversations is a part of leadership. Let's make sure that our hearts are correct and that we're not only being a friend to people's feelings, but also to their future.